I read a really neat book recently, and it's not affair recovery related. It's actually a book about productivity. It's called Atomic Habits, and the author is James Clear. Now, I loved this book, and I did read it for productivity reasons. I was looking for ways to stop doing bad habits and pick up maybe some new ones, and I've actually implemented some of the things in the book, and it's been very helpful. So, Atomic Habits, James Clear. So you might be wondering, what in the world? Why are you talking about a productivity book? This is supposed to be an affair recovery video on an affair recovery channel. You're correct. And I'm going to make some connections. He said something in this book that gave me pause. I actually spent some quality time thinking about what he was saying and made some correlations with my own affair recovery journey, wishing I had known these things back then. I'm also a betrayed spouse who chose to stay in and heal a relationship with my unfaithful spouse. And here we are, 13 years past D-Day, and just celebrated 27 years married. It can be done. It's hard work, but it can be done. So I understand what you're going through. And I think when I explain what I read of his and the struggle I was having at the time, you probably can relate. I have some freebies down in the description below if you want to grab them, as well as a link to schedule a free consultation with me if you want. I am also a master certified coach. I'd love a chance to get to know you and help you. All right, so James Clear, Atomic Habits. Okay. This book was great, and it had a lot of great productivity tips. One chapter in particular talked about motivation and why oftentimes we tend to lose motivation when trying to reach goals and accomplish things. And he talked about, how we typically do things. And he used the example of someone who wants to become a runner. Their goal is to become a runner. So I will become a runner is the goal. And therefore, I will do steps A, B, C, D, E, F, G to get to that goal. And some people can definitely accomplish goals like this, no problem. But many of us end up losing motivation after a while. And he theorized, what if um, what if you lose motivation because of how you are seeing and talking about and thinking about the goal? What would it look like if instead of saying, I will become a runner, which is future tense, you say, I am a runner. So I do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That was fascinating to me. So this person who wants to become a runner keeps talking about how they will do it, which is future. And what James Clear says, well, what if you wake up and you just believe you are? I am a runner. It changes things. It makes you realize that now is the time. It's not some goal out in the distance that you may or may not reach. It's who you are. It's what you do. I got to thinking about my own affair recovery journey, and maybe you can relate to this. I reached this weird space where, I mean, even if I was doing well for a while, suddenly, do I even love him anymore? Um, I don't know that I can ever trust him again. I'm not sure I can forgive him. Um, I don't I don't know that I can enjoy time with him like I used to. I don't know if our marriage is going to even be good anymore. I mean, so all of these doubts were flooding my mind, and I felt incredibly stuck. Like, I've done all this work, here I am, and this was pretty far into my affair recovery. I mean, we're not talking like the first few months. This was maybe a year or two after, and I'm wondering, I don't know. I don't know. But everything I was saying to myself was future based. I don't think I'm ever going to trust him again. I don't think I will love him the way I used to. I mean, all of this stuff were these future based ideas. But the reality is, I was saying these things in my head, but I really did want to love him again. I really did want to, um, trust him again and forgive him and have a good marriage on the other. I want it all. I wouldn't have stayed if I didn't want those things, right? So my being stuck was like these things I was saying, I don't know if I'm gonna this and I don't know if I can that. It was like I was making these unreachable goals in my head. I was predestining that I am not going to be able to do these things. This is not going to happen. I'm not going to, all of it future tense. So thinking back, I wonder what would it have looked like for me if I would have said things like this instead? I'm going to love my husband today. I love my husband today. I'm loving my husband today. I am working towards trusting him. I am. I'm actually doing that right now. That's part of who I am. I am working towards forgiving him. I'm doing that right now. It's not some future thing that's out there that I'm telling myself is never going to happen. I'm doing it now. I am doing these things. And then I actually leaned into what I was saying to be true about me that day. How would things have looked a little different for me? What we say to ourselves matters. The more we tell ourselves, I don't think I can get over this. I don't think I can ever trust him again. I don't think I can ever. True. I think most of us go through that, right? Yeah, we've been betrayed. Those are things that take a long time to rebuild themselves, but they can be done. It's not that we can't. And the more we say we can't, the more we look into the future and say, I won't be able to, I won't do this, I won't do that. I can't have this. eh, It's there you go. That's actually ending up to be your goal. Your goal is to not trust anymore. Your goal is to not forgive. Now, granted, I know this is circumstantial. There are marriages out there that are not going to survive a fair recovery, no matter what you tell yourself. And there are marriages out there that probably shouldn't, heal after an affair because they're just unhealthy and they're not working and they probably need to dissolve. I understand that. I'm talking to those of us who were like me, who wanted to move forward and wanted this thing and we really genuinely wanted this to work. And my husband wanted the same thing. So we were on the same page. But I was the one who was stuck. I was the one who was questioning. I was the one who was I was putting out there these preconceived goals of things not happening and living into that, really. How could I be motivated to work on a marriage when I'm setting these horrible, never going to happen goals? You know, why would you put energy into that? Why would you even try to do anything different than what you've already predestined that is going to happen? What if instead it's I am, not I'm going to. I am. I am going to try to trust something about my spouse today. I am going to really begin praying about, if you're a person of faith, or thinking through what it would look like to forgive them. I am going to look at them in a better light. I am going to enjoy time with my family, even if they're there. I am going to touch them today. I'm going to hold their hand. I am. He said one final thing that I'll share. Atomic Habits, James, I want to give him all the credit for this. He said motivation is not about putting energy into doing something later. Motivation isn't this magical thing that goes, okay, you're motivated. Motivation starts with action. You have to do something to be motivated to do something. If you want to be that runner, I bet if you get dressed and you put on your running shoes and you put your hair up in a ponytail, you get your Walkman ready, you're going to run. That's your motivation. I bet you you go to your neighbor and you say, "Hey, will you be my running partner?" You do something. Motivation, you know? Motivation is not this thing that's going to blossom within us because we desperately want to achieve a goal. Motivation is our action in purpose. That was powerful. Right? If you're lacking motivation today and you don't know, you keep telling yourself, I don't think I can, or I'm not going to be able to, or all of this, all these future-based failures, things not working out the way you want them to, change the narrative. What you say to yourself matters.